All right, we're talking about 42 million Americans will be left high and dry starting November 1st. Well, folks, even Democrat voters are now starting to get upset and they are blaming the Democrats.
I'm, a retired federal worker, and I hear people talking about, the president needs to get involved, and the Democrats are saying this, and Republicans are saying this. This is the truth. The Democrats, and I'm a Democrat, are the ones that actually, in the Senate side, shut down the government. They did not vote for a continuing resolution except for 3 of them. One is the Senator of Pennsylvania, Fetterman, and all. So they have to get together and stop holding an American hostage. We're about to have people without food come, November 1st, which is the end of this week. And that's ridiculous. It is not worth it. Plus, the healthcare companies have already said you're way past the deadline for them to change their costs that they're going to give out to the public for the healthcare. So, November 1st is open season. So, they need to get together. I know they keep on saying the president needs to come back, but the power of the purse is with the Congress, not the president. You all talk about this president being the king, but if you want him to solve this problem, you're making him a king. This has got to stop in America. I want the Democrats to fight, but I want them to fight in a negotiating way like I did when I was a union president versus sitting up here constantly bickering and the Republicans bickering. This has got to stop, and America has got to stop accepting it. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
That's Lynn in Philly.
Wow. So that was a major Democrat. She was also a former union president, self-identifying Democrat, and she is spitting mad. So these SNAP food stamps funding run dry on November 1st. Again, as we mentioned, hitting 42 million low-income folks right before this is the holiday season. So again, that's 1 in 8 Americans, including kids and veterans. Okay. Shelley, what are your thoughts on this?
Ain't nobody starving in America. Okay. Ain't nobody starving in America. Nobody's starving in the United States of America. That's my thought. That's my opinion. And matter of fact, I know it. Look at our diabetes, obesity, morbidity, and mortality numbers. Nobody's starving in America. Now, that's number 1. Number 2, do I think that the government, the Congress specifically, are inept and incompetent and on many things, certainly even on the shutdown? Even as much as I want the government to shrink, I absolutely do think that they are inept. This shutdown, for the reasons that it's shut down, is based. Let's go with the Congresswoman. Our Congresswoman from Maine, I think, Massachusetts. She said this is leverage. Okay. Federal employees, by and large, in general, have some of the best healthcare plans. So they're not missing out on the healthcare plans. It's the people that this inept Congress keeps funneling out taxpayer money to support, and we don't get positive outcomes from it. So again, if they don't get their food stamps or SNAP benefits or whatever, then I say then they don't need them and give us our money back.
Wow. All right. Tyrone. So USDA is flat out says the well has run dry. Okay. 12 plus failed votes to reopen. The Republicans said yes every time, and the Democrats blocked it for leverage, as Shelley mentioned. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, the first thing I thought of when I heard 42 million people on food stamps, I said, you know what? We got a problem in this country, a problem of dependency. Okay. And I understand that the economy, everybody's not fully involved in the economy. So everybody's not out there making $100,000. I get it. But when you look at the food stamp program and all of these other programs that basically instill dependency in a large portion of our populace, this is by design to keep certain people in power. Okay. Now it's kind of backfiring though, because these same people who are on the food stamp program, some of them are saying that they're speaking out on the internet. And they're, really decrying the fact that they're going to lose this benefit. But I'm like, this should be an opportunity for you to think, man, I'm too dependent on this government, that might do something that's not conducive with my family's welfare. So it should be a signal to come off of that.
Let me push back on that a little bit. So we have said over and over again on this program, and you have said on yours, Tyrone, that we have, over the last several decades, we have become a country of single mothers. We have become a country of the high wealth, and the poor have gotten poor. The gap between the rich and the poor has widened. Okay. And because we have so many single mothers, single parent households, these people have aged and become single seniors. Okay. And a lot of seniors get assistance. It's not just, they said they were clearing out these young and healthy men off of these rolls, but there are a lot of seniors who get help for this stuff. Veterans, the disabled, I think, to me, I would expect it to go up a little bit, because now we've become this nation of single moms, and these single moms become old women who don't have any help.
Well,
so what's your point?
Right.
So my point is, I want to push back on what you all were saying, as far as I do agree that, we do this is a dependent nation, and we do need to get, we have to get more young, healthy, able-bodied people off of social services. But again, on the other hand, I'm thinking, well, maybe it is inevitable that these roles are going to increase with people, because we are creating generations of single mothers who turn into elderly women who don't have anybody for help.
So it's not just all single mothers, like you said. Other people are on there as well, elderly, veterans, things like that. That's number one. But ultimately, it is a culture of dependency and entitlement. How do you break that? I've said it once, I've said it a million times. I'm tired of paying for everybody else's stuff. Okay, I'm tired of it. I don't care if you have 10 children. Call me heartless. Call me whatever, selfish. I don't care. Call me racist, bigoted, whatever. Call them. That's fine. I will wear those monikers, wear them, because I'm tired of it. But if we break the cult of dependency, the government wouldn't have to collect from all of us to pay for all of them. Number one, they would have their own means to pay for whatever it is that they can afford with their own budgets. In this culture of dependency, not only is this a matter of I'm dependent, it's a matter of a mindset that has a mind change, if you will, altering the brain, the mind, to say, oh, I need to look for Uncle Sam every day, every month, or whatever, to pay my rent, my housing, my gas and electric, to feed my children, to feed me, to give me whatever it is I need. That's what I'm looking for from Uncle Sam. Not my own means, not my family, not my spouse, not my community, and not even my church. How the churches get their hands out too for government dependency, things like that. It's a mindset, it's an entitlement, and that is causing them to be more poor.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but a large portion of these benefits go to non-citizen households.
It's true.
So there are 42 million people in this country that need food stamps on a weekly basis. And we're saying people deliberately instead of Americans, because most of the people that are on food stamps aren't even from this country. 45% of Afghanistan immigrants are on food stamps, 42% of Somali immigrants, 34% of every immigrant from Iraq, 23% of Haitians, 59% of all illegal aliens are collecting food stamps, meaning that most of the people getting food stamps from the U.S. government and the U.S. taxpayer are not even Americans. Think about that. And we didn't know about any of this before the government shutdown started. But thanks to Democrats, we can confirm tonight that millions of Joe Biden illegal aliens, people who crossed the border when Joe was president, are now collecting food stamps from a program funded by hardworking American taxpayers.
So basically, we are bringing in these people who eventually end up on social services.
That's right. And SNAP, food stamps, what we call them, those are some of the easiest ones to get, okay? And remember,
please hit that like button. Hit that like button and subscribe. We are trying to reach 250,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We don't have Candace Owens millions, okay? And so, your likes, you help us push us out on the YouTube platform. And of course, your super chats go a long way in keeping us online. We are not married to millionaires, all right? Tyrone may be a millionaire, but
no. Tyrone might go apply for some food stamps tomorrow.
Said it many times. We've said it on here. The money is fungible. You can call it what you want. The state will dish it out, if you will, but then the state gets a reimbursement from the federal. Don't let all those grants and subsidies, or whether it's federal or state, where it comes from, don't get confused. It's taxpayer money at every level. That means it's your money, my money, Tyrone's money. It's taxpayer money, and they just moved the daggone coconut shells around, thinking that, oh, the people don't understand. It's fungible.
Well,
now, I want y'all to think about something else here. The food stamp program it's not just individual welfare. It is also a form of corporate welfare. In this state, Maryland, this one small state, $80 million per month in food stamps are issued. Okay. I'm surprised you didn't hear anything from Coca-Cola and PepsiCo, because several states have started banning the purchase of soft drinks with food stamps. But the food stamp program is a big nod to the agricultural lobby and also all of these food lobbies. Think about $80 million just in Maryland every month allocated specifically for food. Okay, so it's also a form of corporate welfare as well. Hence why you see them ready to give it to anybody, including people who are not citizens.
Well, even MSNBC is admitting that Americans are blaming Democrats for this shutdown. Take a look here. This is clip 5.
With MSNBC's Kevin Fry on Capitol Hill, where lawmakers are facing growing calls to end the shutdown. Kevin, what's the latest?
Yeah, I mean, this is a very dramatic call from that union of federal employees representing hundreds of thousands, with a statement today saying, among other things, that it's time for our leaders to start focusing on how to solve problems for the American people rather than on who is going to get the blame for a shutdown that Americans dislike. Because when the folks who serve this country are standing in line for food banks after missing a second paycheck because of this shutdown, they aren't looking for partisan spin. They're looking for wages that they earned. They go on to essentially say that Congress needs to pass, in their view, a clean CR. Now, when Speaker Mike Johnson was asked about this today, he certainly kind of leaned into this. In fact, we saw several top Republicans on the House side take advantage of this statement and basically point to it, saying, Democrats, the ball is in your court now, whether or not you decide to act on this. Johnson saying, I certainly hope this is a turning point in the shutdown, noting that this is a union, after all, that is weighing in this sort of way, and saying that this shutdown is a charade. Now, of course, at the same time, I have in recent weeks spoken to Democrats representing districts with heavy populations of federal employees, and their message that they say they've been receiving from federal workers was keep up the fight, that health care is the fight worth having, that it is an important time to push back on the Trump administration. Of course, as this continues to drag out, as we see federal employees now missing paychecks. Will that start to change? We shall see this week when lawmakers start to return. The Senate comes in this afternoon. They're expected at some point this week to vote again on that CR to reopen the government. And members of the House Democratic Caucus are going to be here as well, so we'll be polling them too. Chris?
All right, Kevin Fry with a busy week ahead yet again. Thank you so much.
All right. I mean, the truth is the truth. Right, Tyrone?
Well, he's lying about federal workers saying, oh, just we need a clean seat. Nobody is saying that. They're saying, I need my paycheck, man. Okay,
Right.
so he's telling a damn lie. Or whoever told him that is lying.
Yeah. Shelly, what are your thoughts on that? MSNBC is right there saying blaming the Democrat.
Yeah, blame the Democrat, whoever you want to blame. The truth is, polls are showing still some mixed people. Some people blaming the Democrats, slightly more are blaming the Democrats now. But, again, the polls change by the end of the week. That's number one. But to Tyrone's point, Tyrone, I think I just looked up something. You said Maryland is spending $80 million. You cut them short, brother. This is according to the AI on Google. Maryland spends about $1.6 billion a month, average. I know, right? So you're a little bit behind, Tyrone, for fiscal year 2025 at least. Anyway.
Okay, my number was 2022. So okay,
right, exactly.
Okay.
So fiscal year 20. But this is my point. We're spending. This is only in Maryland. That's why I say nobody's starving in America. $1.6 billion in Maryland a month on average. That's a whole lot of damn food already stored up for the winter.
It should be.
Ain't nobody starving.
Well, I pray that's the case, but as you mentioned, if these people aren't blaming the Democrats now, they deserve everything they get, okay? Because the Republicans have put forward bills prioritizing these politics over paychecks. So a few days back, Senator Ron Johnson of I believe it's Wisconsin pushed a bill to pay federal workers still on the job, because there's people working, they're just not getting paid. So again, like the troops, air traffic controllers. So there's the government is shut down, but there are some people that have to work, but they're just not getting paid. The Democrats blocked it 54-45. Also, 1.4 million federal feds missed paychecks, now hitting food banks. So we saw them, they were at the lines at these food banks. Even the largest federal union, we saw this today, AFGE, is begging to end this shutdown, and they also blame the Democrats. So, this is starting to get pretty serious. And I know that people are, let me see, what's today? Today's the 27th. The first is, when's the first?
Friday?
Monday?
Saturday's the first. Saturday's the first.
Oh my God. Let me tell you, people are about to get crazy over these food stamps. Let me tell you that. It hit me today. I was like, wow, we are about to go into Thanksgiving. Yeah. Hell, I might not have anybody's house to go to this year. Because they got the mac and cheese and they got 2-3 turkeys. I know somebody was using food stamps to get that food. I'm getting nervous. Okay. I mean, what is going on here? I'll be real with you. All right. So this is getting serious. And on a serious note, though, my heart goes out to people who are worried. People with multiple children, who got to bring in lunch and they working and stuff. My heart goes out to these people who are depending on these food stamps, and it's not coming in. And the Democrats are so heartless. They don't care about these people. They're just using it as leverage. So it's sad. It really is. All right. We have some super chatters here, folks. Thank you all so much. All right. Let's see here. Kung Fu CJ says the food pantries have already prepared. Well, I saw a news story today where they were going out. They didn't have much food left in the food pantries. So we will see. I'm sure we'll hear about it. And folks, this doesn't just affect urban areas like the cities, rural areas.
That's right.
Rural areas are going to feel this as well.
Can I say this one thing?
Say it, Shelly. We know you're going to say it anyway.
For over what, 40, 50 years, just like the war on drugs, the war on terror, the war on hunger or poverty, why is it that it never seems to go down? It never decreases. The war on poverty. Why is that? We have all of this money and resources, food pantries and nonprofits and whatever other benefits have been given over what, 40 something years, but yet the poverty is still there or still increases, not just decreases, it increases. More and more people. Again, this goes to what Tyrone said. This says something. In as much as it says something about the people themselves, it also says something about the culture that we have created and allow our government to create. We know we keep allowing it. We keep, putting the money there. They take out taxes and then they distribute it. And these jokers go off and take leave 10 times a year. They got multiple homes. They come into office with 100,000 K or 200,000 K job. 2 years, they're making millions and millions. This is why people are upset. I know these things are kind of loosely related, but this is why this is why Mamdani is winning.
Well, the poor, well, you answer this, Tyrone, because people try to say like the country is doing so badly, but from what I'm researching, our people aren't as poor as they were back in the day. Now that gap has gotten wider because we have more millionaires. Is that right? Or more people making more rich?
That is largely true. The standard of living is higher. The lifespans are longer, but also the average home costs $500,000. Okay, so affordability is getting further and further away from the average American. And to your point, Shelley, listen, the reason for these things is because poor people enrich other people. Okay, take Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott. His wife runs one of these 501c3s. They're looking into her scam, and they find out that last year she took in $700,000.
Wow.
600,000 went to management. Okay. All right. So that's the grift. There is no, these homeless 501c3s. Most of them don't want to be put out of business because the people at the top are making a lot of money. So you got to have homeless. It's got to be a growth industry. You're actually seeing people profit from more and more misery. They have no incentive to get rid of it.
Poverty is an industry. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Absolutely, it is. Absolutely.
It is.
Wow. Well, all I got to say is, how do I get on?
You don't want to. You don't want to, because you know what? In that great getting up morning, a lot of people are going to be called to account, and you might live good down here, but there'll be an eternity you got to deal with for doing stuff like that.
You're right. You're right, Tyra. Oh, God bless you for reminding me about that. You are right. You are right. You are so right. Yeah. And it's a grift, as I always say. It is. It's a terrible thing. People doing this type of stuff. It is. It really is.
KJ, to your Thanksgiving point, I'm sorry, I know we got to move on. To your Thanksgiving point, Tyrone, we know we have so much food to the point that we get tired of it 2 days, 1 day later, and then we go out, Black Friday, Saturday, we out buying other food, eating dinner at the restaurants.
It's true.
That's why I say nobody's starving in America.
That's right.
Oh, well, I don't know where you going. I don't know who's cooking at your at your places, but at my house, my family's house, nothing's left. Everybody's taking food and they are eating it. It's nothing left. Okay, so hey, all right, folks.